grass on it. So I don't think South Africa have made the wrong decision.
And here now is Curtly Ambrose batting the first ball. And there is the first run of the match. 4 runs down the leg side. Signalled there by Lloyd Barker. 4 leg byes, just flicking the pad.
Quite a bit of movement there for Curtly Ambrose. Pitching perhaps in line with mid-stump, but going a long way down the leg side.
That's a wonderful shot, showing that lovely spreading saman tree at the right back, right hand, inside the stand there. We can just signal the saman tree there like a great spreading mushroom. It really gives the ground its beauty. There are 4 or 5 of them. And here is Ambrose. Oh, that must be a wide. It's Patrick Patterson down there at fine leg. Indeed, umpire Lloyd Barker, the fairly substantial one, he's got a comfortable frame. He signalled a comfortable wide. There we are, the conch shells there blown, making their own distinctive noise and contribution to what will be an ever-increasing cacophony of sound all day. Here he is, tall, huge Ambrose. That's another wide, it has to be. It is. Umpire Lloyd Barker needn't have done his press-ups this morning when he got out of bed. He's having plenty of stretching exercises to do now. And that is certainly the sort of start that this thick-packed West Indian crowd won't have been angling for. They've come to cheer their heroes. They've heard about the 107-run victory in Sabina Park in the first match. They've packed every nook and cranny to see them repeat it. Oh, what a fine piece of cricket. It was a half volley, beautifully played by Kepler Wessels and wonderfully fielded by Keith Atherton. And of course it was Keith Atherton who threw Wessels out when he hit 2 stumps out of the ground in the first match at Sabina Park.
Keith Atherton is a brilliant fielder. Look at this. No fumbling, nothing. In full control once the ball hits his hands.
That's another wide, well wide of Kepler Wessels. And Ambrose has really got into an unfortunate groove this morning.
This ball pitched just on or about the off stump and went a long way there, Henry. Still quite a bit of movement there.
David Williams, almost dwarfed by his gloves. Kepler Wessels had one short, a little bit too wide, waved at it. If he'd not played a stroke, he'd have got a wide, I think. He's paid the penalty. He's caught behind by Williams off Ambrose, and it is 17 for 1.
Not an excellent ball at all, and usually one of Kepler Wessels' favorite strokes, cutting just outside the off stump, but that one bounced possibly a little bit higher than he expected, Henry. Caught behind. South Africa lose their first wicket. And 17 for 1. All the families come along. Look at the transistor there, isn't that splendid? I wonder what program he's listening to. I say. Well, that was a quick single, again well judged. Atherton was quickly in there, but they judged it well. Just stopping it short of the fielder. Good response from Hudson.
Well saved. And a magnificent bit of fielding. What a magnificent bit of fielding by Philip Simmons.
Well, that's a disaster for the South Africans, because Andrew Hudson has been one of their best players through the World Cup, and indeed he made a fine 50 at Sabina Park And that was just a little bit of careless cricket on his part. It was a fine stop by Phil Simmons, but he should have been watching it a little bit better than that. And then a magnificent throw. He had only just a wicket to look at, and that's the one he knocked down.
So the West Indies running hot here at the Queen's Park Oval. South Africa 24 for 2. And he's got that one away. The outfield is very, very fast, and they just won't catch it. Benjamin did his best at third man, but it was a bad delivery from Cummins. So the first boundary from the bat of the innings, we had 4 leg byes off the first ball. That's the first from the bat, and Cummins punished for his shortness.
It might have been called another wide if he hadn't got bat onto it. He reached out a long way to get bat on it.
It's in the air, dropping just short of Patterson. Well, let's look at the umpires to see if they'll make a call. It was a hook. Neither umpire is interested in the wide call. They call it a wide here rather than no ball. So if he had been caught off it, it would have counted as a catch, and he would have been dismissed. The crowd not too happy with Patterson. They reckon he should have got a lot closer to that one. Caught. Benjamin takes it at third man. I don't think Cummins is too elated because he knows that it was an atrocious delivery, but sometimes the worst deliveries can get the best of wickets, and he struck with Peter Kirsten, probably the best of the South Africans, 36 for 3.
Yes, this would definitely have been called a wide, and the catch nonchalantly taken down there on the third man boundary, and Kirsten dragging himself off.
So Kirsten gone,
31 for 3, and South Africa's 2 most experienced players, Wessels and Kirsten, have perished unnecessarily. Oh, that's a good stroke. That's gone away for 4 runs. That was a fine stroke. Timed beautifully. And so that really was a fine stroke there by Hanse Cronje, one of the best today.
Certainly, just timing it well, flicking it off the hips. 4 more to South Africa.
Oh my goodness me, a no ball is called, so even if that had gone into the stumps, he would not have been out. But it was not at all a happy stroke by Caper, who's looked in all sorts of problems outside off stump.
Yeah, Capes has looked in problems, and really he is due for a big one. Here we go again, playing across the line a bit there, not with a straight bat, just missing the stumps. But he's really due, and you know, we're looking for him to get a big one today.
Well, that was a good stroke. Not even Atherton could cut that off, and it's racing away over the boundary for 4 runs. He's not going to stop that, and that just does show you that this outfield is like greased lightning. He timed the ball beautifully, but it really was not much more than a defensive push. Look.
Absolutely. He just pushed very, very gently at that, timed it very well, but the outfield is so fast.
And that is the 50 up, 53 for 3 from 99 balls. Oh, that bounced awkwardly for Harper at slip, and it's gone away for 4 runs down towards the Queen's Park Cricket Pavilion. Well, it doesn't matter how they come, as long as they come. And here you can see we got a bowling change. That's Roger Harper, who's playing in place of Carl Hooper in this match, and he's now going to purvey his own mixture of off breaks. Has he taken the wicket? Oh my goodness, no, he thought he had. We saw Caper then playing for spin that wasn't there. It went past the outside edge, and
yeah, Caper playing for the spin here, and it did turn a fraction, played a bit inside it, and very, very close to the outside edge, that.
Well, seeing the off spinner, the South African batsman will know that they've got to try and pick up 40 or 50 runs from Harper's 10 overs. So the battle really is on. They'll have to hurry. Oh, he's gone. Yes, he's out. Richardson there, throwing back to Harper. And, oh dear, for South Africa, Cronje has gone. Much their best batsman so far. Run out for 22. He's a big man. He seemed to me to start slowly. And he's paid the penalty. South Africa have lost their 4th wicket now for 67.
Cronje pushing it there, and really this was a poor run. There's no ways that was a run there. And he was a good foot out. Good decision by the umpire, but a bad misjudgment there.
And so the score now 67 for 4.
So still a long way to go for the South Africans, and they'll want to ensure that they use up all their allotment of 50 overs.
Well, that was he played at that, but got away with it.
Played inside that one because the ball didn't actually leave him. If anything, it kept coming on into him a little bit. Just playing inside it, keeping a little bit low, but it certainly is a very, very good batting wicket.
And with a lot of work to do against that type of feeling. The West Indies have looked extremely sharp today. This is not the West Indies team that played in the World Cup by any means. There they seem to be lethargic. Fielding often let them down, but today they have been spot on, and Atherton has been one of the outstanding fielders. Well, that's one of the first mistakes we've seen for the day, right through Keith Atherton, and very unusual that it should happen to Atherton. Really was a straightforward bit of fielding. 2 runs to him, and it's 77 for 4 at the end of over number 24. He struck it well. That's 4. Got onto it very, very quickly indeed. It was only fractionally short, and Jonty Rhodes was onto it in a flash.
This is a good shot by Jonty Rhodes. Amby's straying a little bit short down the leg side, and he's quickly onto that. Superb hook shot. Very quick on his feet is Jonty Rhodes. He got onto that very, very quickly.
Well played. He's got it through. Wasn't all that short, just fractionally short, but Rhodes spotted it early.
A little bit short this one from Roger, and Jonty Rhodes quick onto it. Good square cut, and then this fast outfield, it flew to the boundary.
Well, he took the precaution of letting it hit his body, but a very quick, imaginative, impromptu piece of keeping by Williams.
David Williams certainly very quick. Not quite quick enough, though.
Caper that time trying to play it away to leg. Frustration gaining a slight hold on Caper, understandably so.
Caper playing across the line of that ball, but tending to go down the leg side. Pitching in line with the stumps, coming into the right-hander, would probably have missed leg.
Harper to Caper. And Lara, the fielder. And of course, in this situation, Michael, the batsmen have not put Richie Richardson under any sort of pressure. He's had no problems over his field placings. Runs have come much too slowly for South Africa. Well, that's and he's gone. The first time that Caper has hit the ball in the middle of the bat, he hit it gently there to Lara. And the end of the innings really summed up all that had gone before. One can only feel sorry for Caper, but look at the jubilation of the West Indies.
When things aren't going well for you, Henry, they don't go well at all. Everything goes downhill. The first really attacking shot from Caper, he has not hit it that well, only to just lob it to Brian Lara just behind square. South Africa lose their 5th wicket, 98 for 5.
Well, there we are, this marvellous open stand. the left of the pavilion as you look at it. Absolutely brimmers it is. Well, oh, jaunty Rhodes living up to his name, getting another single. He's all the time at least looking at the attack, and that is the 100. Belatedly achieved, but it gets a nice round of applause when eventually it arrives. 100 for 5 from 192 balls. Oh, that would have been a wide, I think. But somehow Rhodes got some feet to it. Maybe a bit of bat as well. A bit of bat as well he did, because splendidly rotund Lloyd Barker. The umpire doesn't signal a leg by. I don't know if he's gone down for the mandatory count, but just waiting to see if Benjamin's now going to go back off his short run. No, he decides to go on to his long run this time, having given his cap to the umpire. But that's a fine stroke. That really was timed beautifully by Jonty Rhodes. That is 4 runs. That was a lovely stroke. He opened the face, he hit it so well, and that's one of the best 2 or 3 strokes we've seen today.
Beautifully placed, Henry, just behind square, wide of the man at backward point, and wide of the man at third man in the gap. Beautifully played.
There was a certain exuberance there, and it's such fun to see Jonty Rhodes, who he's got 27, and it'd be lovely if he could go on and get, well, 70 or 80. He's really fought very hard and with great spirit. It's another good stroke, but unfortunately for him, Keith Atherton is there. And that's gone away. He hit that very well indeed, and that is gone for 4 runs. A splendid stroke there. So 118 for 5. 3.28 the current run rate. It's not enough, as Cummins is in. Oh, and that's out. Yes, he's gone. Richardson's gone, caught at second attempt there by Atherton, who leapt up, knocked the ball up, held his nerve and calmly pouched it as it dropped down again. Another marvellous example of this breathtaking West Indian fielding. And look at the joy that catch has produced.
Pretty wide outside the off stump, that delivery. But a brilliant fielding again by Keith Atherton.
118 for 6. Is the new batsman, a young 23-year-old with a big future in front of him. Cummins to Snell. Oh, that's a handsome stroke. But he's only going to get him a single. Simmons down there at backward point. And what a good throw. I've almost run out of superlatives talking about this West Indian fielding. It's marvellous, isn't it?
It has been excellent today, Henry. Very smart in the outfield. The good catches being taken, a couple of run-outs, and good round fielding.
There he is, Phil Simmons, chewing away. And Jonty Rhodes comes back for his second 2, and only the second 2 of the innings. And it's Anderson Cummins to start his 7th over, and he's bowling now to Jonty Rhodes. Well, Rhodes is always trying something, and I'm sure if he stays in for a few more overs, we're going to have some more splendid entertainment. And to tell you about it, Trevor Quirk and Tony Cozier.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Rhodes almost upended, getting his toes out of the way.
Yes, on both occasions hasn't really got his weight up to deal with one going down the leg side. But Jonty Rhodes looking a good deal better out there now, and a good deal better than he has in most of his innings for South Africa in international one-day cricket. He's often had to come in just for the slog.
That must have been very close. They're very confident, but umpire Barker will have none of it except to signal a leg by. And the end of the over, good delivery. So 39 overs gone, 127 for 6. Trinidad going down the leg side there. Rhodes pushing for 2. And well run. Good bit of work by Benjamin. He came in very quickly, just seems to have wrenched his left leg there as he came in. But they ran very well.
And Jonty Rhodes thinking that he would be coming down to the danger end, the bowler's end, but in fact it was thrown to the other end, and Snell was initially a little slow in racing down to that end, but he soon quickened his pace.
Just over the head of the infield, and it'll go all the way. He didn't hit it as well as he wanted, but nevertheless that's another 4 for Rhodes. So he's doing a tremendous job here now for South Africa. That's his 5th 4, carrying him to 42, and South Africa to 134 for 6.
He's looked to play the shot once or twice. He plays with a lot of bottom hand, as Jonty Rhodes, right hand, and that one just clearing the infield, fortunately for him. And it takes him to within 1 of his highest score for South Africa in limited over international. His previous best being 43 against England in the World Cup match at Sydney.
That's beautifully bowled. That's a special from Patterson. When he gets the Yorker going up right in there, he can be quite devastating.
Jonty Rhodes' batting grip is very interesting, because that left hand of his is so far round on the bat.
It's an easy catch. Atherton has it. Cummins holding that one back, and Snell just popping it up. So 7 are down for 138. South Africa continue to struggle. The West Indies well on top.
Just trying to hit on the up there, but not going through with the shot at all. Very poor shot indeed from Snell. Just held up on him a little. He was early with the shot and just popping it up into the covers. Make an easy catch.
138 for 7. That's well run. And there will be more, but Henry has turned his back on the ball. There should be another one. And that's bad cricket from the West Indies, but very good cricket from the South African pair. They spotted the opportunity for a single very, very quickly indeed, put pressure on the West Indies fielders, and got 2 out of what really was, at the beginning, nothing at all.
Didn't quite know where it had gone, but heard the call, and then he was clever too. He angled his run so that he would run in front of the stumps, and even if that throw from wicketkeeper Williams had been straight, I fancy that it would have hit Jonty Rhodes, and you are entitled, of course, to do that.
146 up now, and Cummins will bowl to the left-handed Henry. Well fielded, Desmond Haynes in at square leg. So the old men starring here. Haynes at the age of 36, stopping a good blow by Henry, age 40. He'll be good to get there. He's given him. They've demanded the decision, and umpire Clyde Cumberbatch agrees. It must have been close. Jonty Rhodes very fast between the wickets, but not fast enough to beat one of the fastest of the West Indians, Keith Atherton. and yet another run out. Rhodes goes, a big setback for South Africa in the 43rd over.
Yes, that really is, and even the pace of Jonty Rhodes in the end, according to the umpire, could not beat this one. Let's see how close it was. It was desperately close, and the fact that he took so long to give the decision must have had made some doubt in his mind, and then really he should have given the benefit of that doubt maybe to the batsman on such a close call.
So South Africa now 146 for 8. Well, that's a fine shot. That's well struck for 4. Good shot by Henry. He really has made a big difference since he's come in.
Yes, he can bat, Omar Henry. And he uses the pace of this delivery, rolls the wrists over it, and keeps it down, and finds the gap too, because there are 2 men on the boundary, one just backward a square and one down at third man, and he bisected them quite splendidly.
Oh, it's bowled him. That was always on the cards. Pringle really set a fairly tough examination by Ambrose, and one that he was not capable of answering. So 152 for 9. Pringle has gone, bowled by Curtly Ambrose for a duck. For 1, I'm sorry.
This one just sneaking in between. No, it passed on the outside of the bat. I thought it had sneaked in between bat and pad, but it passed on the outside of the bat and still managed to hit the off stump.
Oh, well, the odds were against him digging that one out, but he did it. Well done him. Wasn't a bad ball either. There's Donald, and this is why he's come in. Merrick Pringle really didn't know anything about that at all. Ambrose bringing it in, bowling wide of the crease and hitting the off stump. Oh, and there it is. That's very much too difficult for Donald. He still can't believe it. Didn't see it at all. He has been bowled by Ambrose, and South Africa all out for 152, and Michael Holding's licking his lips and wishing he could have bowled at those last 2 South Africans.
Typical numbers 10 and 11, Henry. They don't usually spend a lot of time at the crease. This ball beating Donald for pace, hitting the stumps before his bat actually came down. Not a very big score here for South Africa at all. 152 runs. Not a daunting task for the West Indies, but who can tell what will happen? This is a one-day game, very peculiar game. We'll just have to wait and see how well West Indies respond.
The South Africans were again let down by their most experienced batsmen, Kepler Wessels and Peter Kirsten. Only Jonty Rhodes offered prolonged and effective resistance with an innings of 45 before he became the 3rd run-out victim. The West Indies fast bowling was relentless, and it was backed up by quite brilliant fielding in front of an exuberant full house crowd at the Queen's Park Oval. A target of 153 should not give the West Indian batsmen any problem. Well, here come the West Indian openers. Desmond Haynes there on the left, Brian Lara on the right. And this packed crowd of 25,000 people, it's brim full. There's not a space to be had in this ground, standing and cheering the side that disappointed them so much in the World Cup. But victory here, if indeed it is a victory, to follow their victory in Jamaica on Tuesday, will get them all talking and chattering and really enjoying their cricket again, holding their heroes up for the world to see. Well, it's 153 for the West Indies to win this match. Desmond Haynes is facing, and here is Alan Donald with the first ball of the innings. And it's the edge of Haynes' bat. It's 4 runs, and that's just the start South Africa didn't want. It was well up to the bat. Haynes drove. It was a thickish edge along the ground for 4.
Well, when South Africa got 13 from their first over, one thought that that might be a day for them, that things would go their way. But this is a tremendous start for Desmond Haynes. Off the outside edge, but all the way along the ground. And noticeable, South Africa got a very attacking field. 2 slips in a gully. I think they realised that any hope of winning, they have to bowl the side out.
Yes, you can't defend 152. They've got to take 10 West Indian wickets if by chance they are to get back into this match or get back into this one-day series. Donald again to Haynes. Oh, it was in the air, but he was lucky, got away with it. It was to the right there of mid-on, and it being chased back by Snell, but there was just the single there. No, there were just 2 they got. Haynes going back for the second run.
Well, it looks as though Desmond Haynes wants to win this match within 20 overs or so, the way he started. Having a go at that one and didn't get hold of it. Luckily, it was wide of Snell, who is fairly wide at mid-on.
Oh, and that's gone away off the edge. Luckett going the West Indies way, wide of second slip for 4 runs. Well, that was bad luck. Lara went for the drive. On another day, he might have been caught at second slip. It's so often the way it goes. Luck favours the side that needs it least.
Yes, it's a cruel game sometimes, and that was in the air for quite a way, but just away to the left of Adrian Caper at second slip.
But it is, isn't it, Murphy's Law, when a side like South Africa desperately need all the luck they can get hold of at the moment. It goes the West Indies' way. Perhaps South Africa aren't simply making their own luck. Oh, I say, Lara looks as though he's trying to finish it in the second over.
Well, Haynes indicated that for the first couple of balls of the first over, and Lara doing likewise. And I think they must have some engagement that they've set up rather earlier than they expected, and they want to get it done with.
What a bus they got to catch. Oh, lovely stroke by Haynes. Everything together. Anyone wanting to learn to off-drive should have seen that. They're going to get 3 runs. Kirsten there, also one of the white paint advocates. Returns. But what a beautiful stroke that was.
Lovely shot, and I've been lucky enough to see quite a lot of Desmond Haynes batting in England, and it's always a joy. Beautiful timing, placement, everything right.
Ooh, that was a pretty good one, and that had Lara in quite a bit of trouble. And well, that was really a mess up by the West Indies. They should have gone for the leg bye, but Lara perhaps is hurt too much to run for it. He took his eye off the ball. Haynes wanted a leg bye, but he found Lara was a bit hobbledy-hoy at the other end, unwilling to take it.
Hits him fairly high up, and I think also it must have pitched just outside the leg stump maybe, so the appeal was stifled. And there you see, suddenly waking up to the realization that there was certainly a leg bye in it. He was more concerned with the pain.
Lara waking up to the realization that Donald is quick. Oh, well fielded, Jonty Rhodes. It's the end of the over. The score is 17 for no wicket. Oh, that's a fine stroke by Lara. I don't think he's going to get to the boundary, but no, in fact, just 2 runs. He didn't perhaps time it quite as he might have done, but nonetheless, the footwork was good.
What an exciting batsman to watch. He's so stylish. He made a lovely 50 at Kingston. And with that sort of shot, looks in good form again.
Oh, beautifully played by Lara then. It was not a very good ball. He played it with such control, hitting it late, into the ground. 4 runs all the way.
He really is a find for the West Indies, this Brian Lara, young player, and he seems to have so much time in which to do things, and he does so many of the things so right. And all he needed to do was use the pace of that delivery and get it down fine enough, and he did that quite marvellously. And from the posters they hold up, certainly Brian Lara seems to be the new hero here in Trinidad.
Oh, that's another nice stroke. It was the half volley. He's driven down the ground. Yeah, Snell's not going to catch that. That's 4 more. And this is not a particularly good piece of bowling by Donald. The crowd really, well, the noise says it all, doesn't it? Young and old, waving, signalling for, blowing conch shells, blowing bugles. Joy personified. There we are. And it's 31 for no wicket, and we're in the 5th over.
Well, with shots like that, no wonder that he is the new favourite.
Oh, that was the best stroke of the 2 matches so far. It wasn't all that short of a length. It was a wonderful cricket stroke. Driven off the back foot, 15 runs in the over, and the score at the end of it, 36 for no wicket. And it's Merrick Pringle to Haynes. Oh, you bowl at Haynes's legs in peril. I don't think they're going to stop that. And just look at the crowd there. It's the jump up, the calypso dance that's going on. They've had carnival in Trinidad this year, but it's still warm in their veins.
That's one place you do not bowl to Desmond Haynes. He's so powerful there. Beautifully timed shot, and the fast outfield saw it accelerate into the advertising boards. And I think we're in for an early afternoon tea.
It's a sophisticated form of mutilation, isn't it? Oh, and there's Lara's little sweep shot. He gets out his broom and paddles it round the corner. Scores a lot of runs that way, doesn't he?
Yes, and he certainly played that shot often enough to Henry at Sabina Park. Plays it so well.
He waits for it, plays it late, doesn't he? And picks up the line well. Tell you what, he's going to provide a lot of entertainment in the years to come, Brian Lara. Oh, my goodness me, he hit that hard. Henry, I think, must have thought he'd stopped that, but it was through him. That was a marvellous stroke.
Pure magic. Omar's such a good fielder off his own bowling, but that went right through him. Using his feet, he danced down so quickly and smashed it back past the bowler.
Here we are in amongst the crowd, watching a bird's eye view from amongst them. All the hats and earrings and shirts and transistors. You can see one there just to the left of that green hat.
So many of them seem to listen to the radio while they're watching. Something different to South Africa, I must say.
Oh, well, there you are. You see, if you bowl at Desmond Haynes' legs, you pay the penalty. That's going to go for 4. And the 50 has come in 50 balls. That's a tremendous rate of striking. 53 for no wicket. Blowing in the breeze, palm trees, coconut palms, and they look delicious.
And here is Henry. It's over the top, well struck. That'll go for the first 6 of the match. They love it here at the Queen's Park Oval. Well, this is annihilation of the South Africans.
Brilliant shot there from Lara, using his feet beautifully. Over long off.
And that's gone too. So Haynes has joined the fun, and that's the second 6 off Henry in the over. So 2 6s off the left arm spinner, and the West Indies have gone on to 66 without loss.
But Brian Lara certainly has taken to task this opening position, doing very well, very well.
He's whacked it through the covers for 4. Uncompromising when it comes to anything outside the off stump. He really is blazing away, this little left-hander. And the West Indies have travelled on to 77 without loss after 12 overs. He's got it through. He's hit it between mid-off and extra cover, and that's his 8-4. And Brian Lara moves on to 49.
Very, very good stroke there by Brian Lara again. In the air for a bit, but well placed. The South Africans had no chance with that one. In the gap. 4 more for Brian Lara. Just playing through the line.
That's his 50. So his second successive half century. He got 50 in the first one-day international in Jamaica. He's needed only 49 deliveries to get there. And he's included a 6 and 8 fours. And is this Queen's Park Oval ever happy?
His first innings for the West Indies in front of his home crowd as well, Tony. Well played.
Well, that really was a long hop. Certainly on a pitch as accommodating as this one, and Haynes just stood up and decided where he would put it.
That just stood up and said, hit me. Short, an attempted bouncer, no real pace off the pitch, no great height either. Easily pulled well in front of square, as you see there.
So yet another boundary. 95 on the board now, and Haynes with 2 successive boundaries. And Donald, the main threat in the South African bowling, really being punished. That is magnificently struck. No one moved. He just whipped it off the legs with a modicum of effort. Magnificent stroke from Brian Lara. He really has lit up this ground here at the Queen's Park Oval. 100 partnership. West Indies have moved on to 102 of just 95 deliveries.
A team in a hurry, it seems.
Well, that was not a bad one, but there are no slips there. Desmond Haynes up on his toes, got a thickish edge, and away it goes for 4. And bad luck on Donald but that's the way of things in one-day cricket.
That one made some height. If a slip had been there, that would possibly could have gone straight to him. Or possibly a second slip. But one-day cricket, 102 without loss, rarely do you see a slip in position.
And those, I was only having my hand up, those 4 runs take Desmond to 45, which means brings up his 7,500th run in one-day international cricket. What a record. Oh, it's a splendid stroke. It's 4 more. It was over-pitched, hitting it into the gap, Lara, between Pringle at mid-on and the bowler. So makes it look so easy. And, of course, Snell not of top pace. And Lara in supreme form.
Another great shot.
Wasn't that a marvellous stroke down the ground by Lara? It was the half volley, the full half volley, and he's just pushed it straight for 4. Lovely stroke. Again, that's typical of so much we've seen today from Brian Lara. taken him along now to 65. Lovely, wasn't it, Alan?
Beautiful shot.
It says it all. Haynes 48. Lara went much quicker to start with, but Haynes has been accumulating quietly, while Lara's rather gone into his shell in the last bit, although there was that one delightful straight drive off Snell. It's Alan Donald again to Desmond Haynes. Oh, and that's another one off the edge. He trapped it on the ground between the bottom of the bat and the ground, and away it went for 4. Haynes has got his 50, his 46th one-day 50 for the West Indies. It's come in 58 balls. He's hit 1 6 and 7 4s. Another splendid, solid, dependable innings by Haynes. He's been lucky. He's got a couple of 4s through the slips, 3 4s through the slips of Donald, 1 off the first ball of the innings and 2 more latterly. But in the one-day cricket, you don't get many slips and gullies and things, and I'm afraid Donald's face says it all. Fast bowlers can be on the receiving end of it. Oh, a marvellous shot by Haynes again, working it off his pads for 2 runs. And the end of the over, 130 for no wicket. Lovely flowing stroke by Desmond Haynes. Omar Henry, the fielder, out there. Just 19 runs needed now. Lara hitting that, reaching for it, uppishly, but getting away with it. We've seen him do that 2 or 3 times, but a good piece of fielding over there by Cronier, who perhaps had a bit of luck with the bounce, but he went for it one-handed and got it well.
And a good return finished off that bit of fielding as well, right over the top of the stumps. Crowd gave him a big, warm round of appreciation.
Well, those are the final details, the final rites which we have to go through. And it's Omar Henry. Oh, and there's a chap watching his first one-day international, I reckon. Oh, well, that's one way of getting to the end quickly. 6 runs, it was a marvellous stroke. Although the Portugal boy seems unamused, everyone else is utterly delighted. Lara making room for himself, playing it inside out, as they say, hitting it over extra cover. What a wonderful stroke, Tony.
Extraordinary stroke. To take a left-arm spinner and give himself room. He moved away towards the leg side, give himself room, and hit it over extra cover for a big 6. That's not a short boundary over there.
Well, and that's along the ground. It's going out to the river fall. Vessels is chasing it. I don't think he's going to get to it, no. And so the end now coming with a rush. 148 for no wicket. Just 5 more runs are needed. And the jubilation of the crowd, tremendous to see.
Really is a delightful player to watch, Brian Lara. He's playing before his home crowd here. They'll give him a tremendous ovation when he goes off. He's a darling here. They call him the Prince.
Well, that's certainly going to be 2 more out there to Donald at deep mid-wicket. The 150 is up. 150 for no wicket in the 26th over. The 9th 150 opening partnership for the West Indies, and the 8th, which has included Desmond Haynes.
Umpire Lloyd Barker there, just checking the scoreboard is correct.
3 to win. Well, if he hadn't hit that, it would have been a wide.
In fact, Lloyd Barker had the situation in the one-day final here in the Caribbean a couple of seasons back, where a run was scored, they all trooped off the field and had to come back because the scoreboard was wrong.
Oh, and there we are, that's gone away to the boundary, 4 runs, it's all over. The West Indies have won the second match for the BPSA Challenge by 10 wickets. They needed 153 to win. They've reached 154 for no wicket. Brian Lara, who hit that final four, finishes with 86 not out. Desmond Haynes, the old soldier, has 59. A wonderful blend of the young and the old for the West Indies. For South Africa, well, it's dejection time just now. They've got only a few more hours before they've got to do battle with the West Indies again at the Queen's Park Oval. And goodness me, a lot's going to be on the shoulders of the management to lift their heads up in time for tomorrow's encounter. Brian Lara especially and Desmond Haynes were in tremendous form for the West Indies, and runs came at a prodigious rate. The 100 was up in 15 overs, and Lara, in his first one-day international in front of his home crowd, made 86 not out, and the West Indies reached 154 for no wicket with 24 overs and 2 balls to spare. The South African bowlers were simply not up to it. Alan Donald went for 26 runs in his first 3 overs, Omar Henry for 24 in his first 3.